which were the wrestlers you thought were, easy to work with and difficult to work with, either because of the way they behave in the ring, because of backstage policies, or because they screwed up multiple times inside the ring?
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, there's a lot. All the talent's great, phenomenal to work with. There was a few guys, and there's a lot of guys, like, and I used to like that because it made me a better referee. Like if Shawn Michaels back in the day, and he was a very, whether when he was with the Rockers or with anything else, Triple H, and a lot of guys, those guys, the old school guys used to protect the referees because, and especially if you were a heel, because you didn't want the heat pushed on the referee. So you wanted, if the referee's seen everything and did everything and you weren't working with the referee, or I wasn't taking care of myself, the heat would get put on me. You don't want the heat on the ref. You want it on the heel. So if the heel is not getting the heat and the referee is, something's not working there. So, but there's a ton of wrestlers that take it serious. And there's a ton that protect the referees. And a referee with experience just has to learn how to protect himself. That's for sure.
How was your relationship with Vince McMahon? Because after working 35 years for him, you have to be kind of close to him. I had the opportunity to speak with Jim Johnston recently, and after 32 years, he had like his highs and he saw his downs. It was like a roller coaster ride. So, what was your experience with him?
Jim Johnston's the one who did all the music for the WWE.
Yeah,
I mean, he's the one that he created some really cool music over the 30 years he was there. Because I remember when I first started, and so my it was just business. I mean, hello, sir. How you doing, sir? How are you? Mike, how are you? How was your family? Everybody good? Yes, sir. Always on the passing. A very respectful relationship. Definitely from me to him and him to me was respectful. And he did respect me as his head referee very much. And I appreciate that from Vince. And, I always say working for and with Vince all these years it's been phenomenal. And we didn't have a very close relationship. We didn't hang out, but it was a very respectful and more me to him because he was my boss. He was helping me out, paid my bills, took care of my family over the years, paid my mom's house off, do all that. And it starts from Vince, Linda, Shane, and Stephanie when I started in this business.
After 35 years, they made an announcement. I mean, during the pandemic, man, no one expected that name to come. I mean, we saw so many names, but once you saw social media, I was covering the news, and I specifically was seeing the names. It was like, wow. And once I saw Mike Chioda, my exact words were, why in the actual fuck? It was, 35 freaking years.
I know.
Why did they release you?
That's an answer I still don't have, Mike. Michael, I still don't have that answer. Am I going to go begging back for that answer? Fuck no. But did they think I'm too old? Jesus. We got to, a man runs our company, he can run a company. I know a 50-some-year-old man, 53-year-old man can get in that ring and still do his job. You got people that are 80 years old, president of the United States these days. It's like, I'm like, really? And Mike Chioda's too old to get in there. You see wrestlers coming back at 55 to do a 30-minute match. So anyway, yeah, it hurts. It hurts, definitely. Little, like I didn't bury the company. I didn't embarrass the company in any way. I was off for 6 months with rotator cuff and bicep surgery at the same time. I got it done in Alabama with Dr. Dugas. I moved to Florida, closer to the PC Center. Hopefully I can work down there. My needs were ever down there, training, whatever. I was going to rehab down there for my shoulder too, as well as finishing off in Tampa, because I had just moved to Tampa, Florida from Houston, Texas. And so I knew I was giving up my career at one point. I even talked to Hunter about that a few years ago. And Triple H said, look, I don't want you to go out so old in the ring and this and that. I want you to go out strong. I said, shit, man, I appreciate that. I would love to too, because most wrestlers do not go out strong in this business, nor referees, they don't get to retire on their own, most wrestlers, and say goodbye, whether it was Bret Hart or this one or that one, or Nick Patrick and didn't get to retire in front of a crowd like I thought I might. Even with the pandemic, I was told I had a WrestleMania match, but then everything went sour having WrestleMania here in Tampa, which is 25 minutes away. And then they had WrestleMania, and then they said, look, we're going to only use these certain amount of referees because they're already in Orlando with the pandemic, yada, yada, yada. Okay, great. I understand. Wow, the first WrestleMania I'm going to miss ever in my career, I'm thinking. So, and then at some point, I get a call April 15th, and it just shocked me. And I get this call, this text message, and I look at my wife, we're driving somewhere, and I said, oh, babe, this is about a pay cut, I bet. You know, because I heard some talent was starting to have to take pay cuts, certain big talents, everything, contracts. And I said, I bet this is about a pay cut, which I would have definitely took a pay cut to help the company once again. But, you know, at one point with the steroid issue in the years ago and me going to the grand jury and us losing to the WCW, and it's a roller coaster ride and all these things that went on with the company, I was always, you know, glad we pulled out of those things. And there was a lot of roller coaster rides where you weren't making money, where you weren't. Yeah, and I was shocked to be one of those cuts. It was like, you know, that's what, who bought my name up to Vince and got it signed off to let me go after 35 years? And what did I couldn't have got no heat because I was off for 6-7 months, getting ready to come back for WrestleMania and with surgery. And I wouldn't have been out that long if it wasn't like 2 tears in my bicep and rotator cuff and a labrum tear. But yeah, I was shocked, man, disappointed.
And what bothers me particularly is I was part of the press conference they did for the earnings of 2020, and hell, they broke their own record. It was like, I believe it was something like $993 million.
Yeah. And then when I get a call from Town Relations, goes, I'm losing my whole office here. I said, well, yeah, the office was too big, you know. I said, yeah, maybe the office was too, like, it was like, I'm losing I said, what, like, how many referees got lied to there too about, you know, because I was the only one. So I had to have heat somewhere, but I wish somebody could have brought something up to my attention and talked to me about it, you know, because sometimes when you have heat with the wrong person, you know, I doubt, like, Vince went, where's Mike Chioda? Oh, he had surgery and he's off. He's due to be back WrestleMania. Well, what the fuck? Fire him. I don't think he said that, you know. He's out for surgery. Fire him, you know. Let's save our company. And it's just, it gets like, what am I, too old? And I see all these other old timers and friends of friends and working in the business and still keeping a paycheck doing whatever they're doing, you know. I would have went back to the PC and setting up rings again or mop floors. But, you know, somebody just presented it to Vince and that was it. And then Talent Relations made the phone call.
¿Con qué talentos les gustaba trabajar a los árbitros? Bueno, Chioda dice que todos los talentos eran buenos para trabajar, pero que Shawn Michaels particularmente lo cuidaba bastante. Siempre era sencillo. Habló muy bien de Jim Johnston. Menciona que su relación con Vince era más profesional, estrictamente laboral. ¿Cómo está, señor? ¿Cómo va todo? ¿Cómo está su familia? Vince le preguntaba de igual manera. Mutuo respeto, pero muy profesional. No era una relación de amistad. Pero Vince sí lo respetaba como el líder de los árbitros. Él le preguntaba por su familia y él dice, le agradezco, me dio un salario, me permitió saldarle la casa a mi mamá, me permitió poner un techo sobre la cabeza de mi familia, llevar comida a la mesa por 30 y pico de años. Claro que le agradezco. Él no sabe aún por qué fue dejado en libertad. Y ahí es que viene la parte difícil. Dijo que el dueño será la edad. ¿Es la edad un factor? Bueno, el dueño de WWE tiene 75 años y la corre perfecto. Hay talentos que están a los 57 años en el cuadrilátero y lo están haciendo muy bien. ¿Qué pasó ahí? Él se lesionó el codo. A la misma vez que se lesionó el codo, se le desgarra el bíceps. Tiene que ir a cirugía en Alabama con los médicos de WWE. Está 6 meses fuera. Él se mudó a Florida para poder estar cerca del Performance Center, poder ayudar a las personas e incluso Él habló con Triple H. Y se habló, Triple H le dijo, mira, no quiero que te retires del cuadrilátero muy viejo. Vamos a ponerte a hacer otras cosas también. Ah, no, pues perfecto, agradecido. Dice que nadie tiene esa oportunidad de retirarse en alto, vamos a decirlo así. Y apareció esa oportunidad que Triple H le propuso. Iba a trabajar en el Performance Center. Y de momento, no estás pautado para WrestleMania 36. ¡Wow! Triste, el primer WrestleMania que me voy a perder en mucho tiempo, pero está bien, lo entiendo, cosas que pasan. Ya yo tengo la alta médica, yo estoy bien, sí, ok, no es perfecto. Y de momento, 15 de abril 2020, fecha fatídica para muchas personas, y pasó este año otra vez. Le envían un texto que le estaba guiando y le dice a su esposa, yo creo que esto va a ser, nos van a recortar el presupuesto, nos van a recortar los salarios, pero está bien. Ya él aceptó recortes de presupuesto en otros momentos difíciles de la empresa, con el lío de los esteroides de la empresa, con los líos del gobierno federal, con los No Monday Night Wars recortaron su presupuesto, y siempre él, para la empresa, claro que sí. Pero de momento, le da una llamada y Talent Relations le informa que lo cesantearon. Él no sabía que había alguien en su empresa que lo odiaba o que no lo quería allí. Pero él dice, no, Vince, de por él mismo decirle a Mike Chioda, Mike, saca a Mike Chioda. No. Vince no lo va a votar cuando esté lesionado. Nunca lo ha hecho. Alguien más puso su nombre en esa lista, él dice ese día. Él estaba listo para regresar, no tenía problema con nadie, o al menos él pensaba que no tenía problemas con nadie, y Talent Relations lo llama y le dice, yo perdí casi toda mi oficina, te estoy despidiendo. Bueno, ok. Él duda enormemente que haya sido Vince, y menos después de una cirugía. Él se pregunta, ¿soy muy viejo para hacer esto? Él dice que hubiese estado dispuesto a regresar al Performance Center, a montar cuadriláteros, a bajar y a mapear el piso, a trapear los pisos, lo que haya que hacer por ayudar a la empresa. Yo recibo el corte de salario, pero no, nunca le dieron una opción. Alguien le presentó esa idea a Vince McMahon. Vince, sin verla, probablemente la aprobó, y el resto es historia.